Clip right there from Alonzo Bodden at Yuk Yuk's Vancouver this weekend. Good to have you on the show, and I like
Thank you.
I like your commentary on the news. You've had a good hour here in the breakfast television confines. How would you critique this news program?
You guys are good. I had no idea The Bachelor was that. I mean, wow. I learned a lot about The Bachelor already this morning.
Yeah.
Learned about the new iPhone, and it's good to see hockey highlights every 40 seconds because you just can't get enough hockey. I don't know if you're aware of it, that LA, where I'm from, we won the Stanley Cup. We have no idea what that means, but we understand it's important.
Yes.
We are the worst hockey fans. We had a championship parade. 1 million people showed up looking for Kobe Bryant. We don't know. We win. We're good in hockey, and we don't know anything about it.
You see, now that's interesting for you because I know you love your Clippers, as you were saying before. You come to Vancouver, and then you got to really study the nuances as a comedian. So what stands out to you about this city that you like to riff about on stage?
Well, Vancouver it's different than the rest of Canada, right? This is kind of like hippie Canada, kind of a different vibe. So I like that. But you guys, I've been here recently I was here for the Winter Olympics, which you had with no winter, which was an interesting way to do it. We're going to have the Winter Olympics, but we're not going to get cold.
Yeah, that's right.
That was interesting. And I remember your hockey riot. It was the cutest riot we've ever seen.
Cutest?
Oh, it was cute. It was 2 blocks, and you burned up a car, and then you cleaned up afterwards, which was very Canadian.
It was very Canadian at the end. That is hilarious. And, if anybody's watching this, Alonzo, they may think, okay, hey, this was the guy from Last Comic Standing. You had a great run with this franchise. Talk about the experience of one, being on the show, and then ultimately realizing the reach all around the world.
The thing when you're doing it, when you're in the midst of it, you have no idea how big it is. And my experience with Last Comic, the way I explain it, imagine having a job and you knew every Tuesday someone's getting fired. So your only goal is to not get fired that Tuesday. Literally from the start when there's thousands of people to the end when it got to just 3 of us, it was like, well, I didn't get fired. I didn't get fired. Wow, I'm the only one. But I didn't realize how big it was until I was a judge and we scouted. We went literally across the states and around the world. We went to like Sydney and London, and we were in Montreal and Toronto and in Canada. And you see how many thousands of people are lining up and trying out just to get on the show. And when you've won it, you realize, like, wow, I beat a lot of people to get here. It was great. It's an introduction. People still remember me from the show. And when you're doing the show and you're in somewhere, a grocery store or an airport, someone starts talking to you about something and you're like, do I know this? And wait, you know me from TV. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. It was a great experience.
There's sacrifices along the way being a performer. Talk about maybe the most unique stage you ever had to perform on as you're building your brand as a comedian, because there have to be.
Well, it's when you start out. When you start out, you do comedy in places it was never meant to be done. I have worked in bowling alleys while they're bowling.
Yeah.
The funniest one was probably in the rec room of a trailer park. Like, you want to talk about you better be funny? Yeah, you better be funny when you're disturbing the rec room at a trailer park. They got bingo going and the game is on, and then they turn off the TV. There's nothing worse than when they turn off the TV and say, and now some comedy, and people are like, what? I worked in a bar, and this dog wandered into the bar, and the dog got a better reception than the comedy show. They were like, well, he's a regular. You guys are just popping in. But so those are the things when you're starting out. And then as it grows, you get to work in big venues and work for major people. And even that's funny. We were just talking about I do USO and military stuff around the world. And the first time you work at an embassy, and the ambassador's there, and they give you a whole list of things not to say because you could start a war. Oh. They're like, yeah, this is very funny, but they're sensitive about this, so don't make that joke. And you're like, wow, I can get in trouble here. Yeah. And then you're like, I gotta say it, So yeah, I've done some ambassador jokes, but I have a friend who was literally banned from a country for saying the wrong thing while we were there. And I was like, yeah, that's something when you get blacklisted by a country. I've never had that experience. There's
a lot of risk involved. Well, you're bringing it and then some. Yuk Yuk's Vancouver this weekend. So you got, what, 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow?
2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow. It's a little rainy outside, so we've got a roof. So you should come in tonight, and it'll be warm and dry and funny.
All right.
That's the name of my next special, Warm, Dry, and Funny.
I like it. Brandon, right here on Breakfast Television. Check out Alonzo this weekend.